Time and the Philosophy of Defensive Nihilism.
Taking away the moments that make up a dull day. Fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way.
This is not a song about getting old. This is a diagnosis. A step-by-step description of how a human life gets stolen, not by a single catastrophic event, but by 1,000 small surrenders you don't even notice you're making. Pink Floyd's Time is the most accurate map of the problem that exists in popular culture. And buried in its lyrics is both the trap you're living in and the exit you've been trained to ignore. Let's dissect this song like the autopsy report it is. Because Roger Waters didn't write a metaphor. He wrote a medical record of exactly how people die without ever having lived.
And you are young and life is long, and there is time to kill today.
This is the foundational lie. Not that life is short. Everyone knows that intellectually. The lie is that your life is different. That you have time. That death is something that happens later, to someone else, to the person you'll become, but aren't yet. This is the delusion the entire system requires you to maintain. Because if you have truly understood that every hour you spend is an hour you will never get back, if you felt that in your bones, you would become immediately, violently protective of your time. And the system cannot afford for you to be protective of your time.
Taking away the moments that make up a dull day. Fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way.
The song opens with the exact psychological state that makes exploitation possible. The belief that time is abundant. This is what the delusion produces. Carelessness. You don't protect what you think is infinite. You fritter. You waste. You spend your hours in an offhand way. Distracted, numb, waiting. Waiting for what?
Picking around on a piece of ground in your hometown. Waiting for someone or something to show you the way.
Waiting for permission. Waiting for clarity. Waiting for the right moment, the right job, the right relationship. Waiting for life to begin while your actual life is being spent on the waiting itself. This is not laziness. It is the correct response to the delusion.
And then one day you find 10 years have gone behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun.
This is the waking up moment. The moment when the delusion shatters and you realize the game was already happening. The race already started, and you've been standing at the starting line, waiting for someone to tell you to run, while everyone else has been running the entire time. But here's the thing. They didn't tell you when to run because they couldn't. Because no one else knows either. Everyone is just as lost. The difference is that some people started running anyway, and you stood there waiting for instructions that were never coming. This is the realization that breaks people.
Shorter of breath, and one day closer to death.
The horror isn't that you made bad choices. The horror is that the system is designed to produce this exact moment. The moment when you wake up and realize you've already lost years you can never reclaim. This is the only fact that matters. Every day you wake up, you are closer to not waking up. Every breath shortens the distance between you and the end. This is not pessimism. This is physics. And the song keeps repeating it. Shorter of breath and one day closer to death. Why? Because this is the truth you must internalize if you want to live differently. This is the knowledge that makes everything else make sense.
Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way.
And here we arrive at the psychological condition the song is documenting. Quiet desperation. You know the game is rigged. You know you're losing. But you don't know what to do about it. So you just hang on. You endure. You cope. You tell yourself it's fine. Everyone feels this way. This is just what life is. This is the failure state. This is what happens when you wake up to mortality too late to use it as a weapon.
The time is gone. The song is over. Thought I'd something more to say.
The nihilism arrives. But it arrives as regret instead of clarity, as despair instead of defense. This is how it ends. Not with a revelation, not with peace, but with confusion. The vague sense that you were supposed to do something, say something, be something. But now it's too late, and you can't even remember what it was. The song is a tragedy because it's sung from the perspective of someone who spent their entire life and has no idea what they bought with it. But the song doesn't end there. There are 2 more verses, and in them, Roger Waters gives you the entire conflict in miniature.
Home, home again. I like to be here when I can. When I come home, cold and tired, it's good to warm my bones beside the fire.
This is the answer. This is what you're fighting for. Not wealth, not status, not productivity or achievement, or any of the things the system tells you matter. Just this, the fire, the warmth, the small, real, tangible moment of being home and being present and being here. Immediately, the song presents the opposition.
Far away across the field, the tolling of the iron bell calls the faithful to their knees. You hear the softly spoken magic spell.
This is the system, the bell, the call, the constant summons pulling you away from the fire and back into the field. The magic spell is everything that tells you the fire isn't enough, that sitting at home is laziness, that warmth and presence and rest are things you have to earn by first going out into the cold field and doing your duty. The bell tells you that productivity is virtue, that your worth is measured by your output, that home is where you recover so you can go back to work, not the place where you actually. The magic spell is the story that makes the field seem more important than the fire. And most people hear the bell and go. They leave the fire, they cross the field, they kneel, and they spend their entire lives listening to the spell, telling themselves that one day, when they've earned it, they'll be allowed to go back and sit by the fire again. That day never comes because the bell never stops ringing. So here's the choice the song presents: the fire or the bell, presence or productivity, the small, real warmth of being alive, or the grand, hollow promise that your sacrifice will eventually mean something. Most people don't even realize it's a choice. They hear the bell as a command, not an invitation. They've been trained since childhood to respond to it automatically, but it is a choice. And once you see it as a choice, everything changes. This is where the philosophy comes in. Time is a warning song. It's trying to wake you up before you reach the 4th verse, before the quiet desperation, before the confused, empty ending. It's saying, look, this is what happens if you don't pay attention. This is the trap. Here it is, laid out. But the song was written by someone who already fell into the trap. It's sung from the perspective of regret. Defensive nihilism is what happens when you hear this song early enough to do something about it. It starts with the same truth, shorter of breath and one day closer to death. You are going to die, possibly soon, definitely eventually, and every hour you spend is gone forever. But instead of waiting until you're old enough to realize this, instead of letting it arrive as despair, you weaponize it now. You use it as a filter, as a defense, as the one true thing that allows you to ignore the bell. The bell rings. It always rings. It will never stop ringing, but you can stop responding to it. Not because you're enlightened or because you've transcended desire, but because you've done the math and you realized every hour in the field is an hour not spent by the fire. Resistance isn't optimistic. It's not about building a better world. It's not even about winning. You resist for the same reason a cornered animal bites, because you're alive, and because resistance is the only proof of ownership over your own life. Fire is still there. It was always there. Home, warmth, presence, the people you love. The small, real moments that don't produce anything, don't achieve anything, don't justify themselves to anyone. The difference is, now you know the bell is a lie. Now you know the field is a trap. Now you can hear shorter of breath and one day closer to death, not as a source of regret, but as a source of clarity. You have less time than you think, so stop waiting for permission to live. This song is a tragedy. It's the story of someone who discovered mortality too late, who spent their life waiting for someone to tell them when to run and realized at the end that no one was ever going to tell them. But it doesn't have to be your story, because you're hearing the song right now. You're hearing the warning, and you still have time. Not much, never as much as you think, but some. So the question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to keep waiting for someone to show you the way? Keep listening to the bell? Keep trading your hours for the promise that eventually, someday, you'll be allowed to sit by the fire? Or are you going to realize that the fire is already burning, right now? And the only thing stopping you from sitting beside it is the belief that you're not allowed. The philosophy doesn't promise you'll win. It doesn't promise you'll be happy. It doesn't promise anything except this. When your song is over, when your time is gone, you will know what you bought with your life. And that will have to be enough. Don't miss the starting gun.